This meeting will come to order. This is the March Zoning Board of Appeals 2022 meeting. Let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dubois has excused himself.
He's excused.
Mr. Soto?
Here.
Mr. Wolf is not here. Ms. Hirsch?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Ms. Ferrante?
Here.
And Mr. Tizzola?
Here.
Thank you.
Also present is Meg Green, our recording secretary, Stephen Harris, our zoning officer. We're going to switch our agenda a little bit right now. We're going to start out with item number 2.
Item number 2, 102 Melba Street, MBP 29/589/4A, R5, Chris Russo Esquire for Jose Tiago, owner. Vary section 3.1.4.1 of the zoning regulations to increase the maximum height in the R5 zone from 35 feet to 38.4 feet to the main portion of the proposed roof and 46.9 feet to a proposed roof stairway enclosure, and a further variance of section 3.1.4.1 to reduce the minimum side property line setback from 10 feet to 7.6 feet to enclose existing access stairwell and entry porch.
Okay. Last month, this hearing was closed, so all we're doing on this right now this evening is voting on this. So the vote will be up for discussion, and also Ms. Hirsch is an alternate, should be voting on this, and Mr. Smith is also an alternate, and he will be voting on this. With that, we're open for discussion. Mr. Soto?
I just want to give you my opinion on this, and I did a lot of thinking about it, and if we approve this, we're actually giving him another floor of living space. And you know what happens when you give him a floor of living space? He can put awnings up there, tents that are non-structural that are allowed, and have almost 9 months of use up there. And I think we're opening Pandora's box here if we allow this. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Other comments, whatever you can recall? I think this is a very good point that's been brought up as far as setting precedents for additional living space. You know, a lot of people might start thinking about having a flat roof. And as Mr. Soto has said, if you think about during the daytime, I don't think you can possibly be up there without some kind of awnings or tents or some way of shielding yourself from the heat. So it is going to be an additional living area. It's also going to be a 4th floor living space. Any other comments or any other thoughts, or do we need a motion? Any other thoughts?
I'm happy to bring a motion. I think last time I did bring it because my understanding was a motion had to be brought to be voted on, whether it's voted on to pass or to fail. So I'm happy to bring the motion again this time.
Yeah, I was a little confused by your motion last week. That's why I didn't even second it, 'cause I was like, is she going to vote against it or for it or what?
Yes, and I'm sorry for the confusion, but thank you.
Stephen, I have a question for you. Before we make the motion, can we indicate whether we're for it or against it? To give the
No.
board, no?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes things interesting.
Mr. Chairman, the board members can talk about the merits of the application, but they can't say how they would vote before the vote. That would be prejudging.
Well, I think they're looking for some kind of structure on how to word this right now.
So.
Well, there also is another
voting-
part to the motion, isn't there?
Just briefly, the statutes say you need 4 affirmative votes to grant a variance. Therefore, all votes have to be in the affirmative. If the board chooses to approve this application, someone makes a motion to approve, it's second, and the vote is taken. If there's 4 votes to approve, it's approved. If board members are inclined to deny this application, someone makes a motion to approve, it's second to approve, and everybody, including the person who makes the motion and the second, can vote against their own motions, and it can be turned down, 0 in favor, 4 against.
Okay, but we have 2 parts to this motion. We have the stairway enclosure on the side of the house.
You can bifurcate your vote. You can approve one and not the other, approve both, or approve none.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with the stairway enclosure. It's just the roof deck that I have a problem with.
Mr. Chairman, you can even couch it as 2 separate votes, one for the height and one for the stairway encroachment.
All right, so if it's separated out, if it happens to be separated out that way. All right, so Ms. Hirsch, are you going to make a motion?
Yes. So I'm going to make a motion to approve the rooftop deck variance only.
I'll second that.
We have a motion to approve the rooftop deck, and we have a second on the motion. Mr. Smith?
Would you like my vote on the motion? Against the motion. Against the motion. Against the motion.
Ms. Hirsch?
Against the motion.
Mr. Soto?
Against the motion.
I'm against the motion.
Do I get a vote?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Against,
Ms. Ferranti.
against the motion.
Okay. All right, so the rooftop deck is denied. Second part to this?
A motion to approve the exterior stairway enclosure.
Second.
I second it. Oh.
All right, we have a motion to approve, and we have a second on the motion for the stairway enclosure. Mr. Soto?
With the motion.
Ms. Ferranti?
With the motion.
Ms. Hirsch?
With the motion.
Mr. Smith?
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. The second part, the enclosure is approved. Thank you. All right, the attorney's here for item number 1. Okay. Our secretary is going to read this motion or this application, and she's going to recuse herself from this hearing.
Item number 1, 70 Christine Terrace, MBP 108/835/40, RA. Chris Russo Esquire for David Cruz, owner, varies section 3.1.1.7 to permit accessory apartment on non-conforming lot, allowing lot size of 42,209 square feet where 43,560 square feet required.
Go ahead, sir.
Chairman, members of the board, thank you. Chris Russo with Russo and Rizzio LLC, offices at 10 Sasko Hill Road in Fairfield, here on behalf of the applicant. Good to see you here in person. Apologize for my delay. I thought the YouTube link was a Zoom link, and I was able to get over here, though, to really close this out because I had made a majority of the presentation with regards to the variance. There was some concern and that's why we asked for a continuance to afford an opportunity to address some of the things that the neighbor had brought up with regards to a dumpster and to commercial vehicles. And so appreciate the board granting that the continuance so we could address those issues. I do have pictures, which I was going to show on the computer. Pictures of the site. My client removed the dumpsters and removed the other commercial vehicles. He himself his car is his, because that's his business, is one of the commercial vehicles, but has removed the rest and to clean up the site and address the neighbors' concerns. But even though that was the reason we had kept the hearing open, just because it's been some time, just to quickly rehash the application, we are asking for an accessory apartment on a lot that's non-conforming. It is slightly non-conforming as to acreage. It's just under the 1 acre. If you remember, I showed a map of Christine Terrace. It's an S-shaped street, and some lots benefit from the fact that if they're on the outside of the S, the plot lines tend to go out this way, and those lots have 1 acre. My client drew the short end of the stick on that street. It is the only lot on Christine Terrace that has exclusive frontage on Christine Terrace that is under 1 acre. And it's just slightly under 1 acre. As far as an impact on the neighborhood, the accessory apartment will really have no impact. It would be almost impossible to tell that it's there. It is completely within the confines of the building. It doesn't have its own doorway. It's solely accessed through the interior of the house. It is going to be occupied by a blood relative. It really meets all the requirements of your zoning regulations. I think Commissioner Soda, I think you had a long discussion with Mr. Harris, if I remember correctly, at the last meeting, and it really boiled down to this was about a kitchen, another kitchen being located within the dwelling for my client's parents. And that's really, I mean, obviously, you can have your relatives live with you. That's permitted within a single family dwelling. They can have their own section, they can have their own wing, they can have their own bedroom. Basically all that we're proposing, it really comes down to them just being able to have their own kitchen, so they can, at certain times I'm sure there's going to be family dinners and everybody will be together, but since they're going to be living there 7 days a week, that there is a time where they can just stay within the confines of this accessory apartment. So, really don't feel that it's going to have any impact on the neighborhood at all. It will hardly be discernible. You certainly couldn't tell from the outside that there's an accessory apartment within. And the hardship just being the unique shape of that lot, which really just pinches in a corner and cuts it just short of the 1 acre. So again, thank you for the opportunity to address those concerns from the neighbor and respectfully request this variance, which we feel is a pretty minimal variance since we are just shy of this acre, to allow my client's parents to reside in an accessory apartment with him. And just also, one thing to point about the regs is that there is the ability in the regs, if for some reason, the accessory apartments are continually reevaluated. So for some reason, because I know the neighbor had brought that up too, if there was found to not be operating in accordance with the regulations, these accessory apartments have to keep coming before you for reauthorization. So the commission, the board has a lot of control with regards to these accessory apartments to make sure they're utilized in accordance with the regulations.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions for Attorney Russo? Any questions? All right, go ahead, Mr. Soto.
I just want to say, Attorney Russo, to thank you and your clients for offering to clean up the site and doing it. I mean, that's above and beyond what you had to do, so I appreciate that. And I think the plan is a really nice plan and fit in the neighborhood nice.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else speaking in favor? Anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Any opposition? Anyone opposed? Okay, this hearing's closed.
Thanks, everyone.
Discussion, your thoughts?
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a nice plan, and I think it'll fit in nice to the neighborhood. And there is a hardship with the S-curve on the street, so, and the fact that he cleaned up the place, he didn't have to do that. Like Stephen had pointed out, that wasn't our jurisdiction.
I'm in agreement with your comments. Any others? Mr. Smith?
As someone who lived with my parents and my grandparents, had an in-law apartment in their house for a bit, having their own separate room while in the same house is definitely a nice way to keep the family from getting too close to each other. So it's nice to have your own space at times. So I think it's a great plan, and yeah.
Okay, we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve the hardship being, per the submitted materials, and the hardship being the size of the lot.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to approve. We have a second on the motion. Mr. Soto?
I'm with the motion.
Ms. Hirsch?
With the motion.
Mr. Smith?
With the motion.
I'm with the motion. It's approved. Okay, that's it. We just had our 2 items this evening. New business? Anything in new business? Old business? Mr. Harris, is the attorney's presentation under old business? We have to call back our secretary.
I was informed by the city attorney that he had a conflict tonight, and he'll be given the zoning permit at the April meeting.
All right, so we're all set under old business, right? Staff update. CBA board primer by this, okay,
Sorry, I jumped the gun, yeah.
okay. Acceptance of the minutes from our February 8th meeting. Everyone look through them? Everything look okay? Yes? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Applications for next month? Okay. Wow, it's quiet. Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. This meeting is adjourned.